With the crypto market currently clinging on to the lows, it's time to be looking at one of the most important historical charts to judge whether we should be cautious or perhaps aggressive. With that said, welcome back to EllioTrades channel. I'm your host Krown again today. Been having a lot of fun this week with these analyses, so we'll definitely keep on the current pace. Again, massive appreciation for the feedback. I want to once again encourage you to leave whatever tickers you want to look at in the comment section below, and we can look at them together. Also, if you are interested in a daily Bitcoin analysis, if you think that might be valuable to your life, I do exactly that on my own channel, which you're more than welcome to hang out in, and there is a link in the description below. It's also, free. Anyways, it's all free, man. Anyways, we're going to start off today with a chart that we looked at about 2 or 3 weeks ago, precipitating the last major dump. And this is the Tethered Dominance chart. So why is this chart important? What does it represent? Well, Tether dominance essentially represents the the concentration in Tether in the market. So if the Tether dominance is going up, meaning that the market cap for Tether is going up compared to the rest of the market, then it implies that people are going into Tether rather into cryptocurrency pairs. And when do people typically do that? When it's time to be fearful and either taking profit or de-risking. So we're at a major precipice right here where this one actually could confirm its next major move to the upside. Why does that matter? Well, just like before, when we do look at this versus, say, Bitcoin on a weekly schedule here on a line chart. So we're looking at the cyan line chart as the Tether dominance, representing that, and the orange chart as the Bitcoin, just price chart. Well, we do find an inverse relationship, and it's quite obvious. Now, we could put a correlation coefficient onto this. I don't think that's necessary. I think a pair of eyes will do on this one. But as you can see, basically when Bitcoin goes up, Tether dominance goes down. When Tether dominance goes up, Bitcoin typically goes down. So let's just call it a few examples right here. And then I'll call out one counterpoint as well, because I think that's important. All right, so let's start off with this first one right here. Well, Tether dominance essentially tops out in October 2020. Bitcoin basically breaks its prior all-time high and goes on that run from about 15,000, 20,000 to 60,000 right here. Once Bitcoin tops out, Tether dominance bottoms out, Tether dominance goes all the way from there to there. Bitcoin goes from 65 to 30,000. Then more recently, in July, of course, Tether dominance absolutely shoots down and Bitcoin shoots up from 30 all the way to 69,000, our current all-time high. And ever since Bitcoin has been coming down since November, middle of November, we've seen Tether dominance shoot up. So that relationship is still maintaining its composure. And we'd expect if if Tether is going to make the next move, we'd expect the weekly to clean and clearly close above this 3.5% region right here for assumed continuation, which if it does have continuation, we'd expect Bitcoin to have a downfall. So of course, this information, while interesting, it is tangential. So at the end of the day, Bitcoin's chart still matters more than anything else as far as Bitcoin's direction and by extension, the majority of the cryptocurrency market. So let's go back on over here and guess what? We're looking at the same ranges as before. And that does imply the same sort of resolutions. Bitcoin closing a 12-hour or especially a daily below the $46,500 pivot would confirm this as a bearish redistribution formation, which is a descending triangle with targets down towards our prior wick lows at about somewhere between about $43,000 and $44,000. Now, of course, until Bitcoin actually breaks that region on a closing basis, I'm not necessarily looking for that. The same thing as we've been saying for the past, week or 2 weeks now, which of course does require some patience, but that is the name of the game. And that's usually the most likely thing to be happening, just waiting realistically. So on the other side, I was saying before that you could confirm a bear trap reversal on the short and medium term if Bitcoin were to pop back up and close specifically above this lower high here from the 12th of December, destroying that downtrend. That would be 50,300. Seeing as we have our new lower high right here at about 49,300, now we can move that point down to where this X is, meaning that if Bitcoin does pop back above there, especially close even a full hour above that region, I would be looking for another rally back up, very likely around $54,000. I sent out a very simplistic chart on Twitter yesterday, but it seems that, simplicity is sometimes the best way to be looking at it. And I think it was this chart right here. Oh my God, it was this chart right here. Beautiful. All right. Basically this. All right, here you go. Here's my Bitcoin analysis. Above 52,000, good. Below 56.5, bad. Below 41,000, very bad. Above 59, very good. So this is the macro. This is where the macro breaks down, and this is more, intermediate right here. So whilst Bitcoin, if it does break the bottom side of this current consolidation and does initiate moves down to 43 or 44, I would still not get bearish on Bitcoin until it does crack below about the last major weekly low, which is 41,000 or so on a weekly closing basis. All of the weekly trends in Bitcoin have been met with macro moves in its history to date. So until Bitcoin actually takes out this area right here, it still remains in a weekly uptrend. Question is, do we come down here first and do something like this? And boom, or does Bitcoin give a little UE like that and pop back up? Either of those two situations would look very, very good, obviously. Coming down below here, very bad, very bad. All right, beautiful. Well, maybe not so beautiful, depending upon your disposition, but let's move into some, let's do some altcoin analysis here. Maybe Ethereum, not really like an alt, but fair enough. Anyways, we got rejected exactly at the critical area for Ethereum yesterday. So I believe 2 days ago, we said Ethereum very likely up somewhere around 4130 to 4150. We actually got that move yesterday. Problem is, it did not close above there, and this is why closures are so important. So as long as it's below there, I do look for downside, and we are getting downside again. However, I wouldn't look for the next major shattering move until it closes below 36.75. Below there, well, at that point, I look for it to fill its December 4th wick low, similar to Bitcoin, which technically does have a high statistical chance of happening if you do backtest that, and that is significantly lower. Until then, look for bounces off this region, and if it can clear back above 41.30, our last rejective high, that would be good. So above 41.30, good. Below 36.75, bad. All right, let's move on to Link. Below, what is this area right here? 17.25, very bad. Looking for moves down towards 15 to 15.5. Above, in this case, 21.25. I do look at that as intermediate good and very likely to be get continuation towards 24.5 to 25 bucks. Looking at Theta over here, this one was requested quite a few times as well. Above 450, good on a daily closure. Below 370, very bad. And this one actually could come down significantly if that level is lost, somewhere around 3 even perhaps. Anyways, I'd give it a chance first to bounce off this region. We are operating on closing bases. Moving on to Elrond, symbol EGLD, above 325, good. Looking for big moves back up towards, the 400s or so over time. Below 235. I have dyslexia, by the way, or at least I think I do. Bad. And I would be looking for this one to come down somewhere around 200-ish region, again, on a closing basis below 236. Okay, moving on to Decentraland, symbol Mana over here. Let's go to a daily, actually. This one looks a little bit sick in the short-term time frames, actually, but long-term macro below, what is this area right here? Sorry, we are right at the $3 region. Below $3, I do look for this one to actually come down significantly towards 275, maybe even as far as 250 or so, and try for a base there. Long-term good above 4 and 30, and short-term would look a lot better above about 385. Until then, it is a little more downside angled, obviously, and the short-term timeframes are already testing that critical region. Just don't want to see a 12-hour or daily closure below there. That is where problems do start to happen, structurally speaking. Moving on to symbol ADA, Cardano, the thing that goes down a lot. That one above 148.5, decent. I'm not really too inclined to be calling a reversal on something that is been basically just going straight down since September. With barely any real bounces there. Below about 120, I do look for this one to make another move somewhere down around $1 base or so. Again, on a daily closing basis, but right now you can see that almost all of these charts are very similar with these distribution patterns at the bottom. Doesn't mean that it's always going to break to the downside. It is a game of statistics and probabilities, but until this thing pops back above at minimum 140 and preferably 148.5, I can't really be talking about reversals for the time being. Just short-term, I guess, pops to the upside. Moving on to the last one of today. Maybe we can pull up one more. Maybe I got some charts over here. We can look at symbol VET, VeChain. This one good above about 10 cents, bad below 7.4 cents. Below 7.4 cents, I do look for this one to, at minimum, test about 6.8 and perhaps even all the way down to 6.4. Above 10 cents, I do look for this one to go on a nice little rally back up somewhere around about 11.5 to 12 cents or so. So maybe we pick out a couple more. We do have a few more seconds here. Maybe we go check out this thing. Maybe this one, Sand. I know a lot of people like this one because it's metaverse, and that's the hot thing right now. Forgive my LARP lines. Apologies. This is not what I think is going to happen, or at least it's not very likely. That was more of a thought experiment from my live stream earlier. This one, bad below 435 on a daily closing basis. I do look for that one to really come down heftily after that, somewhere around 360-ish region to 370. Above 590 starts to look a lot better, but still not going to be doing anything to the upside, talking about new ultimas or anything like that anytime soon, in my opinion. I mean, whenever you see something like this, basically, when you see volatility hit extremes, and in this case, it hit extremes twice, so we're looking at 100 percentile and then like 95 percentile on my BBWP. It's going to be correcting for a long time at best. So, at best, you're probably looking at something like this. And I think this is what you're probably looking at a lot of cryptos at best, something like that. And then maybe you take out the top side of your more intermediary range. That's where things start to look a lot better and where it have a lot more of a long-term bullish bias. Until then, it is a bit more cautious here, as the Tethered Dominance chart tells us. Yeah, it is a relevant thing to be aware of right now. Again, I'm not trying to spread the old FUD there. It's just, you should probably have full information if you're going to be a market participant. Let me just maybe pull up one more here. Phantom, yeah. Man, Phantom doesn't get any love anymore. I wonder why. Let's pull this one up. Lend on this one, and I already have it charted out. Nice. All right, good above about 176 on a daily closer. That actually looks quite good for correction over. Bad below 124 on a daily closure. Looking for big moves down towards 110 base or so, and then we'll come back to it after that. So I think that will take care of that for today. Again, at the end of the day, regardless of what we looked at on the Tethered Dominance chart, that is a warning signal, but it's not a signal in and of itself. What we can talk about over here is the same things that we've been talking about for a while now. Look, if you want to simplify this, Bitcoin above 49,350 starts to look a lot better for this solidifying itself as a bear trap and a major low being printed in. Until then, if you do see a 12-hour or daily closure below 46,500, there is a technical target for this sort of a formation, which does point somewhere down around about $43,000 to $44,000. So with all of that in mind, I want to wish you well. Stay safe, of course, and I will see you in the next one.